Okay, so we are going to talk about the nervous system today. So this is to learn the structure and function of the nervous system. So how does the nervous system help the body maintain homeostasis? Remember, homeostasis is balance. So how well are you able to maintain balance because of your nervous system? So understand the nervous system is made up of the brain that's found in your skull, the spinal cord that runs down your spine, and all the nerves that are all over your body. So nerves are made of these things called neurons. Okay, this is a cell that carries a nerve impulse. It's like an electrical charge in the form of information. So those electrical charges are information. So this is a cell that carries a nerve impulse and information, and it has three parts. So we have the dendrites, okay? Oops, sorry. We have the dendrites, that's right here, okay? And that delivers the impulse to the cell body, okay? And then we have the cell body, okay? That's this stuff right here, okay? And basically the dendrites are going to be any type of like protrusion. So this is dendrites, 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 dendrites. Those are all dendrites. And then this is your cell body. This is where the nucleus actually is found and most of the organelles. Remember the mitochondria, the Golgi apparatus, all that stuff is all going to be found in this cell body. Okay, so we have our dendrites, our cell body, and then this long thing right here is called the axon. Okay, the axon carries the impulse away from the cell body. So we get an electrical charge here, and then it is passed through the cell body to the axon, which is really, really long, and then passed into these dendrites over here, which pass it on to other neurons or a muscle. Okay, nerve cells have a space between them, and they're called a synapse. This guy over here. Okay, so this is the end of the dendrites, okay? And basically what happens is a synapse is a space between two nerve cells. Now when the message or the electrical impulse reaches the end of one, it's going to release this special chemical, and that special chemical is going to move across that space between the two dendrites, okay, and it's going to move on to the next cell, and that next cell will now carry the electrical charge on to the next cell and on to the next cell. So essentially playing a very long line of telephone where it delivers a chemical message, and then so we get a chemical message here, electrical charge, and then we have our synapses here which deliver this little chemical message to these dendrites, and that passes it along here, so on and so forth. So it's basically just passing a message through your nervous system. Now the function of a nervous system is to receive and respond to information inside and outside of the body. So this regulates body function through stimulus and response, so when something happens you respond, okay, and also to maintain homeostasis. So there are two types, or two parts I should say, to the nervous system. You have the central nervous system. This is the CNS, and that's the brain. This is the control center of the body. So in your brain, all of the information for all the stuff that you do, talk, learn about, think about, everything is in your brain. And this is the control center, and that links to the spinal cord, which is right at the base. Okay, the spinal cord links the brain with the body nerves, so all the nerves that run around your body that allow you to feel and move. It controls your reflexes, and it is protected by vertebrae. So your spinal cord runs down your spine, and all those hard things you feel in your spine, those are called vertebrae. That's a type of bone. Okay, these are all vertebrae, and there are holes in each of those vertebrae, and that's where your spinal cord runs. So aside from the central nervous system, you also have this thing called the peripheral nervous system, or the PNS. And this includes all the nerves that branch from the spinal cord or from the brain to the rest of the body. Okay, so this is from the CNS to the body. So all the rest of the feelings you get, the fact that you can feel when you touch things, the fact you can feel when someone touches you, the fact that you can move your lips, your mouth, your nose, your hands, your arms, all that stuff is done through a communication of the peripheral nervous system, all those nerves outside your CNS, and the central nervous system. So why is the brain so wrinkled? So this is something I feel like I get asked a lot. So your brain is actually pretty neat. And understand that you have a lot of memories throughout your life, and then you have a lot of things that you can do. So when you were born, when you were a little tiny baby, your brain is only about half the size that it is when you actually are an adult. As it grows, it's going to fill up your skull, and it's going to run out of growing room. So when it runs out of growing room, you're going to get these folds, okay? And if you think of surface area, remember we talked about this in digestion, how it allows for a lot more exchange of nutrients into the blood. Your brain gets wrinkled because it needs more surface area to do more things. So the CNS, the central nervous system, and the PNS, the peripheral nervous system, work together to respond to stimuli in your surroundings through your five senses. You remember your five senses, okay? Now, light is a stimuli, sound is a stimuli, heat is a stimuli, chemicals are a stimuli, and pressure is a stimuli. So when it's talking about the five senses within the nervous system, these are the five things that might happen to it. Now, when you're talking about your five senses on your body, obviously you've got your sight, your smell, your taste, your hearing, and then your touch, okay? Those are all very intertwined. Now, we're going to talk about each of them. So vision, light stimulates these things in your eyes called rods that pick up dim light, and cones which pick up colors. And this sends impulses to the brain. So your eye, all of the light comes in, and now when it's dim light, all of the rods will pick up that dim light, and all of the cones are going to pick up the color of what you're seeing. And they send an impulse through a nerve in the back of your eye to your brain, and your brain is able to interpret it. Hearing. The outer ear gathers sound waves that vibrate tiny bones in your ears. You have little tiny bones in your ears. And fluid, which sends the impulse to your brain. So in the back of each of your ears, you also have a nerve that goes directly to your brain. And those impulses go to be processed so that you understand what you're hearing. And you can react to it. Smell and taste. So molecules in the air stimulate nerve cells in the nasal passages. Okay, nerve cells, all of these little cells, these neurons, these peripheral nervous system cells, okay, all sit in your nasal or your nose passages. And these are called olfactory cells. The same thing happens in taste, except that these are called taste buds, okay, taste buds. Touch. So receptors found in organs and skin detect changes in pressure. So when somebody pushes on you really hard or when you bump into something, they can detect pain, and they can detect temperature change. So when you're cold, when you put your hand above a stove and you realize it's hot, that is all these receptors in your skin, and they cause the nerves in your body and your peripheral nervous system to fire and tell your spine, to tell your brain to pull away or to do different things in order to respond to the pressure, pain, or temperature change. All right, so this is going to be an activity we will do next time. So understand, or I hope that you understand the nervous system a little bit better. We're going to work on it a bit. So please write down any questions you have. Thank you.